Stephen A., is Tank Davis the most exciting fighter in boxing?
Yes, he is. He absolutely is. Tank Davis. The time has come for the world to recognize this is one of the top 5 fighters on the planet. He might be top 3.
Yeah.
You can make a legitimate argument for him to be in 3, 1, or whatever. This brother is elite.
Tank Davis, 30-0, 28 KOs.
Gervonta Davis, to me, is the number 1 attraction in boxing. He's the number 1 attraction in boxing.
I haven't seen you this hyped in a long time.
Listen, Gervonta Davis is the real deal.
I'm surprised you weren't
You got to be in the middle of the ring.
Yep.
Or in the rope. If you're going to be on the ropes, you want to be in the middle. You don't want to be in one of the corners. Not against Tank,
I just want you to know that I'm back boxing again. And once that right hand gets a little better, I'm going to get some footage for you. I was just expending some energy myself, running sprints in the park.
Go on, Molly. Tell him about training and how it tough. I know you have to sprint in a park and all them thing there. But I'm telling you, this guy, Stephen A. Smith, man. Stephen A. What are you talking about, my good man? What are you actually talking about? Like, a man like this who hits the pads like how he hits the pads. I can't listen to you, bro. I cannot listen to you when it comes to the sport of boxing. Basketball, American football, probably even baseball. I'll listen to you, my guy. I'll listen to what you got to say for them sports there. But you see boxing, leave boxing alone. I don't know what's going on with American commentators these days. Not even commentators. It's more the American sports show presenters. Gone are the days of the Jim Lampleys and the Al Bernsteins and the Larry Merchants. And Max Kellerman was the last. But once ESPN got rid of Max Kellerman, then really and truly they should just leave boxing alone. They just leave boxing alone, or you're going to come out with crazy takes like what our good friend Stephen A. Smith has said here. Now, I respect Stephen A. Smith. He's a master of his profession, commentating, TV presenting. This is where his forte is. He's claimed to have played basketball to a decent level as a youth man. And when I see him talking about American football and listen to him talk about American football, I can tell he knows what he's talking about. But once you start talking about boxing, from you hit the pads like this, once you hit the pads like this, I can't listen to you, man. I mean, look, you talking about Tank, yeah? You think Tank is all of this stuff. Have you actually preed Tank's resume since he beat Pedraza back in the day when he was 22? I think he must have been 18-0 and he beat Pedraza. I'm thinking this is trajectory. This is the beginning of a Don. This is the beginning of a star right now. This is the emergence of something great. But for me, to be something great, you got to beat the greats in your era, at your time space. And he hasn't done any of that. None of that. Let's go through the man's resume because you lot think I don't know what I'm talking about out here. Let me tell you about Tank's resume and why I don't believe that he's as great as everybody makes him out to be. I think Tank has the potential to be an absolute great. I think he does have that potential to be a great. But there's a saying that says, iron sharpens iron. And he ain't fighting no iron. It's pure rubber and perspex and silicone that this man's fighting. He ain't fighting no iron. All right? When you win the championship, when you win the title, you're supposed to fight better opponents afterwards. Who did he fight? Way back in 2017, he beats Pedraza in January 2017. Beats Pedraza. He was the IBF super featherweight champion. Knocks him out in the 7th round. Brilliant fight. I rated it. I was like, this guy's brilliant. What's going on? I'm like, this is the next guy. Oh, what? He's in Florida now. He's in Florida there, man. What? He's in Florida back in Dunny. All right, let me see what he's saying. Done a quick little bit of research and seen all his, saw the fights that I could see of his that were televised and the knockouts that he was having. Fair enough, it wasn't against anyone spectacular, but this is what happens when you're coming up in the rankings. Done a bit more research, come to find out that he was supposed to go to the Olympics, but he didn't. But he had over 200 amateur fights. Cool. That's 30 for me. Like, you're long in the tooth. You've done your 10,000 hours. You are a boxer, legitimately. Fine, let me see what's going on. Knocks out Pedraza, then his next fight is in the UK. So I'm like, I gotta be there. I gotta go. Liam Walsh, Copper Box. Are you mad? I've done everything. I went to the weigh-in. I went to the press conferences. I done it all. At the weigh-in, he missed weight twice. I'm like, what, Tank, you're missing weight? When I see Tank is a little man. Trust me, 4 foot nothing. I'm like, but how are you missing weight? 130 pounds, you're supposed to be bang on. You're fine. You're supposed to be good with that. Missed weight once, he missed weight twice. Now, the IBF don't do that. They don't allow you to miss weight like that. But somehow they let him miss weight twice. He still kept the title, had the fight with Liam Walsh, knocked him out in 3 rounds. Liam Walsh was like 21-0 at the time. This is Tank's 19th fight or 20th fight at the time. Knocks him out in the 3rd round. That was 2017. At the press conference afterwards, personally me, because everyone's talking about who you're going to fight next, this, that, the other. Everyone's talking to Floyd about Conor McGregor. And I'm like, wait a minute. Aren't we here to talk to this man about the fight that he just had? Gervonta Tank Davis just fought Liam Walsh. And you man are in his press conference after the fight, you're talking to Floyd about his exhibition fight with Conor. No. I had to put my hand up and I was like, when are you looking to fight Vasyl Lomachenko? These times Vasyl Lomachenko was only 9-0 and he only just turned pro a few years prior to that. The caveat is Lomachenko was a 2-time Olympic champion. Plus, he was the WBO super featherweight champion. So a fight with Tank would have been a unification. But Tank weren't answering them questions and Floyd decides to jump in. Let me answer this question. And then he proceeds to talk a load of stuff about, there's so many guys to fight and there's a list and he has to wait in line. His turn will come. His time will come. Blah, blah, blah. Vasyl Lomachenko was 9-0. I think it was like a couple months later, he fought Jason Sosa and beat Jason Sosa to make him 9-0. So at the end of the day, he was 9-0, bro. Fight him now while he's still green in the pro ranks, right? But no, he ain't fighting him. He's not gonna fight him at all. He then decides to fight Francisco Fonseca, and Davis lost the belt on the scales. This time the IBF said, no, my guy, you're not failing to make weight again, and us letting you keep the belt. You failed to make weight again, so we're stripping you this time. So the fight was for a vacant title, and only Fonseca could win that title. Obviously, Fonseca lost by way of knockout in the 8th round, and he went on then to fight Jesus Cuellar. Now, his next 2 fights, Jesus Cuellar and Hugo Ruiz, were both fighters that he brought up from the weight class below him to his weight class. And this particular one with Cuellar was for a vacant WBA regular. WBA regular is not the actual title. It's like some sort of interim, some sort of intercontinental, a degraded trinket of the actual super belt. The actual person that had it fought the week before or something to that effect. His name is Alberto Machado. He had the WBA proper super title. He had the title. WBA super featherweight super title, which is the title that you have to be able to unify, the real title. Gervonta Davis and Jesus Cuellar was fighting for a WBA regular title. And the fact is, Jesus Cuellar hadn't fought in 2 years at that time. Plus, he had come off a loss. So 2 years prior to the fight that he had with Tank Davis, he lost at the weight class below. I don't understand how he got elevated to another weight class and also was able to fight for a title. You work that out if you can, but that's what happened there. And he obviously lost, got knocked out in 3 rounds. Hugo Ruiz, who also got brought up from actual featherweight to super featherweight, he got knocked out in a round. But by this time, Tank had been elevated, from the regular champion to the proper champion. And they downgraded Alberto Machado down to regular champion. To this day, I don't know why. There's actually no reason why. I blatantly believe that the powers that be just paid the WBA as much as they wanted to make that happen. And it happened. It was so under the radar. All of a sudden, he's now a champion, a proper champion. Again, now with the WBA, not the IBF. Okay, let's move on from that. He then fights Ricardo Nunes as a title defense. Now, when he fought Ricardo Nunes, it was for the title, but he was actually a super featherweight, just like Tank. And that fight, he knocked out Ricardo Nunes in the 2nd round, TKO victory. Nobody knew Ricardo Nunes, still nobody knows Ricardo Nunes. He goes up, he then probably vacates that belt, as I think he did. He vacated that belt and went up to the actual lightweight division. And at that division, he first fought Yuriorkis Gamboa. But guess what? I'm going up a weight, you come up a weight and fight me as well. I don't get it. And plus, he was already beaten by this time. Yuriorkis Gamboa used to be a name. He won the Olympic gold. He was named Baby Tyson. But then once Crawford beat him, and then Robson Constellanos beat him, it was like, he's downhill. He's going downhill. He was not the Gamboa that we all knew and loved. And they made the fight with Tank. He had the fight with Tank, and he ruptured his Achilles in the second round, and Tank couldn't knock him out, couldn't get him out of there. This big bad puncher, knockout artist, knockout specialist Tank couldn't knock out a man with a broken, ruptured Achilles tendon, and man was hobbling around the ring for 10 rounds. He eventually TKO'd him in the 12th round, but he lost on his feet. But he had a ruptured Achilles, and this guy's supposed to be the knockout Donny of whatever, the new era. Yeah? All right, cool. Forget that. He then fights after that, goes back down to super featherweight to bring up Leo Santa Cruz from featherweight. And Leo Santa Cruz at the time had won the belt that Tank relinquished, yeah, vacated to go up to lightweight to fight Gamboa for nothing, for basically absolutely nothing. It was like another vacant trinket title, some vacant WBA again, regular thing again. Left that trinket to go back down to fight Leo Santa Cruz, who had come up from featherweight to that weight to fight for a vacant title that Tank just left behind, the WBA title that Tank just left behind. He fought Miguel Flores for that, beat him in a unanimous decision, then fought Tank and got knocked out by Tank in the 6th round. And Tank is now again the WBA champion of the featherweight division. For me, this is just ridiculous. I don't understand how the fans are like, oh, he's great, he just knocked out Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz is little, man, for him. Just because he's taller than him, longer reach than him and all of this, he just came from the weight class below. Plus, he's a pressure fighter, just come forward, come forward, come forward. So that is easy for Tank to maneuver. Tank has got that boxer puncher, that counter puncher, catch and shoot puncher technique, which is tailor-made to take out and destroy pressure fighters. And Leo Santa Cruz is a blatant pressure fighter, just come with 150 punches per round. And Tank can block and punch through them punches, and he's a little man for him as well, and the uppercut knocked him out terribly. So now Tank decides that he wants to do some greatness, and he jumps up 2 weight classes from super featherweight to super lightweight, and he fights a guy called Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios at the time had a trinket WBA title again, a trinket, because the number one at that weight class at that time was just Taylor. He had all the belts at that time. So Mario Barrios had some trinket title, and he was unbeaten at the time, 26-0. But if you look at Mario Barrios' resume before he fought Tank, there's not a name on there that you would ever know. Not one person that you would know on that resume. Not one person on his resume that you would ever know. Okay? So basically, he was up and coming, and he was making his way up the rankings to go and fight for a junior welterweight, super lightweight title. But on the way, Tank comes to disrupt things. But everybody's saying Tank's the greatest, Tank's this, Tank that. You can get money fighting Tank. So somehow he accepts his fight. He was fighting for the PBC anyway. He accepts the fight, but he's not that good. He's not that good. And Tank beats him, knocks him out. Okay? Remember, he was at 140 pounds, this Mario Barrios guy. He was a 140 pound fighter. Okay? Remember, I saying he's not that good. 140 pound is junior welterweight, super lightweight. He has that fight, knocks out Mario Barrios, right? What does he do? Does he stay at 140 to say, no, I'm going to go and try and fight Josh Taylor? No. No, I'm not going to stay at this weight class. I'm going to drop back down to lightweight and go and fight this guy called Isaac Cruz. Now, it wasn't supposed to actually be Isaac Cruz. It was actually meant to be Rolando Romero, who was an ex-judo guy just coming to boxing. But because he was going on with this SA case at the time, he couldn't make that fight, and they had to replace him with this unknown guy called Isaac Cruz, who Tank was supposed to just get through easily. This Isaac Cruz is shorter than Tank. He's a pressure fighter come forward. It was tailor-made for Tank to knock him out. But guess what? Tank couldn't knock him out and had to go unanimous decision victory over Isaac Cruz. Little known, unknown Isaac Cruz, who's now made a name for himself off the back of that loss. And Tank claimed that he broke his hand in that fight. Fine. Say no more. 5 months later, he fights the fight that he was supposed to have against Rolly Romero, who is at this point 14-0. Big man Tank fighting you're Tank the Destroyer. You're supposed to be putting man to sleep all the time. You've got this 90% KO ratio and you're 26-0 at the time, and you're fighting this guy Rolando Romero who's 14-0. He has no amateur background experience. He used to be a judo fighter. So we know that he's tough because he used to do judo. Okay, cool. But he's a boxer now and he's transitioned into this sport and he's only had 14 fights and he's now fighting you. I don't understand the matchmaking there. I don't understand how it was even allowed. But he's not a champion, so obviously it's allowed because he's not a champion at this time. He ain't got no championship belt. People are running around calling him a champion with these trinket titles that he's got. Regular title, interim, intercontinental rubbish. They're calling him a champion. 5-time champion, 7-time champion, 10-time champion. Bro, all these belts that you're winning ain't nothing. At this point, you've only won 2 belts. You won the IBF at super featherweight. You won the WBA at super featherweight. You haven't won any other belt right now. So you won 2 belts in 1 weight class. And the thing is, you didn't even win both of them. You won one and you were handed the other one. Anyway, I move on. He knocks out Rolly Romero, yeah, and then fights Hector Luis Garcia, 16-0. So this is his 27th fight. And this is supposed to be the biggest name in boxing, apparently, according to the Americans. According to Black America. According to Leonard Ellaby. And, well, Al Heyman don't say much, but Leonard Ellaby is his mouthpiece. And he says all of this stuff that supposedly Al Heyman thinks. And according to Leonard Ellaby, Tank is the greatest fighter in the world of boxing, okay? He's fighting 16-0 Hector Luis Garcia. This time, everybody wants to fight him now. 2023, Tank's 28. The Lomachenko fight is still out there to have. Devin Haney wants to fight him. They are making all sorts of noise. Shakur Stevenson's coming up the ranks from a lower division, talking about he wants to fight him. He makes all the noise. Leonard Ellaby saying, what do these guys bring to the table? These guys bring nothing to the table. They don't bring anything to the table. But Hector Luis Garcia, 16-0, with no great amateur experience, with no belt, no title, no interim title, and no real position in any governing body to say that he's supposed to be fighting top contenders. You fight him, because what is he bringing to the table? Let me know. I need to know what Hector Luis Garcia was bringing to the table when you fought him. Or what does he even bring to the table today? Does anybody please know Hector Luis Garcia? I know of Hector Luis Garcia because I follow boxing crazily. Does anybody else know about Hector Luis Garcia, please? Let me know in the comments who knows about Hector Luis Garcia before Tank fought him or Hector Luis Garcia after Tank fought him. Please let me know. And also, he brought Hector Luis Garcia from super featherweight up to lightweight to fight him again. So all he does is bring man up in a weight class to fight him. He brings man from a lower weight class to fight him. This is what he does. And this is the guy that everyone's claiming is the best guy, the most exciting guy. Stephen A. Smith talking about he's the most exciting guy in boxing. Top 3, arguably number 1 pound for pound. Rude boy. I beg you, shut your mouth. I beg you, shut your mouth. You don't know what you're talking about. Hector Luis Garcia is nobody. He has done nothing after the Tank fight other than lose. And one more fight. And that's it. He ain't fought since. Moving on, he then goes on to fight Ryan Garcia after this. Now, Ryan Garcia was heavier than him. And he needed to fight at 140. And even at the time, he was struggling to make 140 even. And Tank was like, no, I'm not fighting you at 140. You have to fight me at 145. No more than 145. Ryan Garcia said, all right, I'll boil myself down. These times, Ryan Garcia is a prospect who hasn't fought anybody of note himself. He's also 23-0. Tank is like 27-0. But Tank is supposed to be upper echelon. Ryan Garcia is up and coming, hasn't fought anybody. He's just got a following, and his following is humongous amongst boxers. His following is humongous. So obviously, Tank's fighting him for the money. But you can't tell me that this is a legacy fight. This is a fight to progress your career. It's not. right? Plus, he was at 140. He's a prospect. You already beat Mario Barrios at 140. You knocked him out. So if Mario Barrios was supposed to be this champion, because everyone's saying that you beat him and you became a champion with a trinket title that he had a regular that was putting him in position to fight for the actual belt. You come and won that belt and everybody calling you a champion. Okay, you're a champion and you beat a 140 champion. Why not fight Ryan Garcia at 140? Ryan Garcia is not a champion. He's not no great boxer. He's limited. Why not fight him at 140? No, you're boiling him down. No, you have to come down to 130. 135, you have to. Boiled him down to 135. The guy looked like a stick insect in there. Ryan Garcia looked like any crackhead in that ring. You knock him out in 7 rounds with a body shot. Cool. All right, cool. Let's move on from that. You made your money. Cool. You made a good killing. Okay, it's prize fighting. You have to make your money when you can. Cool, I get that. Fine. But don't try to tell me that Ryan is a big deal on his resume. He's not. Ryan Garcia is limited. Don't think that what you see against Devin Haney makes him anything. Remember, he was overweight and he failed the drug test. Has he got the belt? Has he got that as a win on his record? No. So don't include that. He's not. Ryan Garcia, for me, he's not good. In not good. Right? In not good. He ain't gonna win no title in my lifetime. He's not gonna beat anybody for a title. He might get handed and emailed the title, but he's gonna get knocked out when he gets it. He ain't gonna be no champion for no long time if he gets a title, and I don't see him beating any champion for a title. So ban Ryan Garcia. He goes on to have that Frank Martin fight that you see the other day. Frank Martin was a prospect, 18-0 when he fought this guy. This time Tank's like 27, 28-0, 29-0, almost having 30 fights. This is actually his 30th fight. You're in your 30th fight. You're fighting a guy with basically half the fights that you've got. You've got more knockouts. Your knockouts probably double his actual wins that he's got. And you're fighting Frank Martin and everybody's supposed to pay-per-view to watch this fight. No one wanted to see that fight. People wanted to see you fight Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, or things like this. You're running around social media talking about Devin Haney. You're running around social media talking about Shakur Stevenson, and then you go and fight Frank Martin. Nobody knows Frank Martin. Nobody knew him before you fought him. Nobody knows him after you fought him. People don't care about these guys. So now you had the Frank Martin fight. You knock him out in 8 rounds. Fine, great, brilliant stuff. Brilliant. Okay, cool. All right, let's see you fight somebody that we want to see you fight now. Fight somebody who we want to see you fight. Everyone says that Shakur Stevenson's boring. You say that Shakur Stevenson's boring, put people to sleep. Go in there and show why he's boring. Knock him out. Shut Stevenson up. And that with the end of that, not everybody will know now that Stevenson is not as good as you. And he is boring and you showed him to be boring. Why are you not doing that? I believe you're shook to fight Shakur Stevenson because I think Shakur Stevenson will embarrass you. His style is all wrong for you. That peekaboo, pugilist specialist, dodge range jobs, economical, don't want to throw a lot of punches, but when I punch you, it's going to hit you. That style will beat you on points 10 times out of 10, in my opinion. Tank Davis will not beat Shakur Stevenson. Me says so. Okay? And if he goes in there and beats him, all fine. You've proved me wrong. But at this point in time, I said that Tank Davis is not beating Shakur Stevenson. And I don't think he's beating Devin Haney because you're supposed to fight Devin Haney as well. And you're dodging that one as well. And it's all for the same reasons. Them two guys fight similarly. They have the same base style. Pugilist, specialist, pure boxer. Hit and don't get hit. Dodge raindrops. I go in the fight on the first round, and in the 12th round, I look the same as I did in the first round. No bruises. I don't take no touches. I don't take no punches. All I do is punch you, and then I win unanimous. Nobody can't tell me nothing. That's how they fight. That style is tailor-made to destroy your claim to be this greatness that you are. So now you've brought up another guy from a lower weight class to come up and fight you, Lamont Roach. I rate Lamont Roach, but he ain't supposed to be up here fighting you. I don't understand how these fights can always be made and no one don't say nothing about it. People go on like you're making a great fight to fight this Lamont Roach or to fight anybody that you fought. Bro, I just broke down your resume. It's doo-doo, bruv. Your resume is straight doo-doo. And you haven't fought anybody to make me think, oh, yeah, okay, that's cool. The only person that you fought that made me say, that's a good fight was Jose Pedraza when you were 22. You're about to turn 30. Man said it on Twitter the other day, and you want to talk about, well, I would have rather have my job than have your job. Idiot, you. You're such an idiot. Your comments just show how dunce you are, bro. Because obviously, you've got the job that makes you who you are. But you know what happens? You gain fans and spectators. That's what happens. You get spectators. And with the spectators that you gather, it starts to determine how much you get paid. Rude boy, you're dead food. You don't get paid, you're rubbish. Yeah? You don't get no... You probably get about 200 pay-per-view buys. That's dead food, bro. Nobody's watching you. There's how many millions of people in America? There's how many hundreds of millions of people around the world? Nobody watches Tank Davis other than his core fans. And you know what? You see your core fans, they do not buy your pay-per-views, bro. They don't. That's why you're only selling 200 pay-per-views, bro. You're rubbish. You're dead food. 100, 200 pay-per-views. You made money with Ryan. That's the only time you're going to make money. Other than that, because you don't have the fights. So you're not going to fight Shakur. You're not going to fight Devin. You're not going to fight anybody. You're 30 years old. You're much older than all these guys. I said, yeah, you have the potential. But guess what? You see, at 30, potential's done. You're supposed to have made it. You're supposed to be winding down, looking to retire now. You've fulfilled all of your potential. You've done all the things that you were meant to do. And then you retire. 35 and these type of ages. You got 5 years left, bro. And you still haven't had a signature fight. Not for me. You ain't had no signature fight. All your fights have been against people that are tailor-made for you to beat, whether they're pressure fighters or whether they're smaller than you or whether both of the above, bro. Bun Tank Davis and his resume. I don't care about his fights. I stopped caring about his fights after he knocked out Leo Santa Cruz and then went on to fight Mario Barrios. By the time I heard him, when I heard that he's going to fight Mario Barrios, I was like, I'm done. I'm done with this guy. Because after Leo Santa Cruz, I was expecting him to go and have fights with decent guys in his actual weight class. This is the thing about him as well. He can't decide what weight class he wants to be in. Because his lack of discipline allows this 4'0" you to balloon up to be having to fight at welterweight or super welterweight. He struggles to make the weights that he's supposed to make, which is lightweight and featherweight. That's what he's supposed to fight, lightweight and featherweight. But because he's so undisciplined, he has to fight above them weights because he can't make it. And now he's forcing himself to stay at lightweight. Okay, cool. You're forcing yourself to stay at lightweight. How come you're not fighting no champions at lightweight, bro? What you got? What you got at lightweight? Nothing, bro. You got nothing. So why don't you fight a champion and prove that you're something? Bun this Lamont Roach fight. I don't care about it. Bun it. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not watching it. I don't business. I will see the highlights on some sort of reel on Instagram or something. Yeah? Lamont Roach. I respect Lamont Roach as a fighter, but I don't respect this fight for Tank. Tank is a waste to me. Waste. And I'm done supporting that you. I used to support that you. I done support him. He's an idiot for me. He's an idiot. Him and his handlers are idiots. He's 30 years old and he still acts like he's 5 years old. Anyway, you're never going to fulfill your potential because your potential's come and gone, bruv. You're 30, bruv. What are you doing? What are we actually doing here? Anyway, that's me and my rant about Tank and saying to everybody, Tank ain't good. Tank are not a good fighter. Ain't no good. Okay? You see what? Tank's good, yeah? But guess what? Ain't no good. And that's my assessment. I'll see you guys in the next video.